Folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Been mowing and weed eating. It's all in my beard. You can probably see it today. Hot, sultry, and everyone likes the creek so much. I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna come down here and I'm gonna plop my big self into the creek to cool off and make my video. It's one of the benefits of having this. It's a favorite spot for the kids. I didn't tell them because then they'd come down here with me and wouldn't get much of a video made. Anyways, what to talk about, folks. If you didn't watch the video yesterday, I made talking about the conversations I've been having with local farmers on how they get it, okay? You should go back and watch that, and not just to watch the video, but to read the comments, because a lot of people, there's some good comments there. People that are farmers themselves telling their story. Someone said in the comments, and I think it was said just correctly, that the average person that's not a farmer and that's not connected to farms, you know, they're hearing this and they're hearing farmers kind of try to warn everyone. And I think that they're, you know, a lot of these people just think, oh, it's just farmers complaining again that things are expensive and that, you know, they can't make any money. That's all it is. And I don't think that that's it. I think there's a lot more going on. It's different this time. The one farmer, and he's an older guy. He's farmed his whole life. And he said the closest thing that he remembers that it being like was back in 2008. He says, but I'm pretty sure this is a lot worse. So anyways, if you haven't watched that video, I think it was called like Farmers Are Worried or something like that. If nothing else, just to read the comments. Because it's getting that way. I mean, things are getting rough, and some of you are getting it. Most of you, if you're watching this channel on a regular basis, you're getting it. I mean, I can't imagine anyone wanting to watch this and the stuff that I'm talking about and not get it. But it's not going to get any better. I saw a news thing today that Spain, they're expecting a big reduction of harvest this year in fruit because they had a late spring freeze that the numbers that I saw was potentially 40% of the fruit crop was wiped out. There's still farmers. I think this week some farmers are finally starting to get things out. I know around here it's been, you know, we went from like early spring cold wet weather to 90s. I mean, there was no in between this year. And so there's been a lot of people around here really getting out and working and getting the gardens out and getting the fields planted and stuff. And I know that that's the way in some areas, but there's also other areas that it's still too wet. Out east, up in the upper Midwest, you know, I'm seeing that it's still pretty cold and it's still just too wet in a lot of areas. And then you go out west and it's the exact opposite. It's extremely dry. You know, especially down in Texas, California, they're restricting water for a lot of farmers. They're not letting them have it. I was reading, was it Lake Powell, I think, and Lake Mead, both produce a lot of electricity, and they're worried that the lake levels, they're getting so low that they either have a choice of conserving the water or making electricity, because they can't do both. And we're talking millions of homes that get their electricity from these places. And what are they going to do? I mean, what's the plan? I guess the plan is to switch over to, you know, all solar and wind. But, you know, we all know that's not really any more sustainable than coal or anything else. It's not as efficient at producing electricity. And while it's running, it may not be producing any kind of harmful things other than, you could say, wind power, damages, kills birds and stuff. But to make this stuff, the materials that it takes to make it, I was reading somewhere a while back that, these big wind turbines, that it takes more energy to manufacture these big wind turbines, and they produce. Then the wind turbine itself produces. I mean, that's just insane. That that they're calling this green energy and efficient. This is going to continue to happen and continue to worsen. We are getting close. This Agenda 2030, folks. I've been talking about that for a while, along with the Great Reset. It's all connected, and I'm going to guess, because my wife was asking me. She said, how much longer do we have before all this stuff really starts hitting us? Well, here's how I look at it. The last couple of decades, they have been formulating their plan, okay? In the last few years, they have been implementing. They have been putting things into place so that their plan can happen. And my guess, and I'm not an expert, but my guess is within the next, couple of years, we're going to see more and more of this happen. And, by 2025, 2026, 2027, something like that, we're going to see them pushing to fully implement this Agenda 2030 so that it can be in place and being done by the year 2030. So we're going to see more of this kind of stuff. We're going to see more controlled shortages, okay? And that's exactly what this is. These are there things that are happening that are natural? I mean, you could say the weather, but there's a lot of evidence to indicate that they're manipulating and controlling that too. And they want that. I talked about this subject last night on my Patreon channel, that, there's a reason that they're doing this. They want to control the food because they can control the people. And then when they can control the people, they can control the population. They can control the amount of population when they do that. Populations rise and fall based on the availability of food. It's always been that way. And that's why, in the last 150 years, the planet has had a massive population boom, because the advent of modern agriculture and the Industrial Revolution made food more available and made food really cheap. And they want to control that. So none of this is new. And of course, this whole war with Russia and Ukraine and our, playing around with China, I still believe that that's all connected to it. It's all part of it. I saw, in fact, I'm going to play this little clip. Wasn't sure if I was going to, but I've decided I will. It's a congressman, and I can't remember who it was, so forgive me, but he's on the Armed Service Committee, I believe. And he flat out says that we are at war with Russia. He says it's a proxy war, but we are at war. Just listen to this little video clip.
Look, I'm going to support it because it's the right thing to do for Ukraine. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of politics involved, and there will be domestic debates here at home about other policies and whatnot. But at the end of the day, we've got to realize we're at war. And we're not just at war to support the Ukrainians. We're fundamentally at war, although it's somewhat through a proxy, with Russia, and it's important that we win.
You see, they're just flat out saying it. We're at war, okay? And they want this. It gives them excuse for all these shortages. Oh, there's food shortages because of this war. The fuel prices are going up. Heard yesterday that the barrel of diesel fuel, barrels of diesel fuel are selling for $200 a barrel at New York Harbor. There's a major diesel shortage right now. The amount of diesel fuel that's available is the lowest it's been in decades. And they're not expecting that to get any better. That, of course, is going to make everything more expensive, and it's going to greatly hurt farming and food, and getting food from the production line to the grocery store. It's one thing after another. It is a perfect storm. In fact, you've all heard me say this before, perfect storm. Well, yesterday it was interesting. One of the farmers that I was speaking to, and he's not a listener. I don't even know if he knows that I make YouTube videos. But he actually used that. He said, this is an absolute perfect storm. He said, all the stuff that's going on, it is a perfect storm. And it's gonna hit us. It's gonna hit us so hard. My personal belief is that the vast majority of Americans are not gonna wake up to this fact until it's way too late. Until it's too late to prepare. It's too late to get ready. They're gonna wake up to that fact. Don't let you and your family be one of those. Get yourselves ready, because you know, the high prices, it's just going to keep going up. The stock market's finally starting to kind of, you know, move and go down because of all this. Inflation numbers are coming out, I guess, this week, the made up inflation numbers. I don't know if it even matters anymore that I talk about the official inflation numbers, because we all know it's a bunch of baloney. I mean, virtually every individual item out there has gone up, you know, double and some even triple digits, and they're still saying 8.5%, 9%. It's a joke. And they want us to believe that. They want us to continue to carry on and watch your boob tube and listen to the pundits and believe everything that the politicians say, and just keep calm and just be a productive little, you know, mindless robot into the system, so that they can change it while you're asleep, while you're not watching. And that's exactly what they're doing. And one day you're going to wake up and you're probably not even going to realize it. You're like, man, things are different. And things will be different, because they'll forever be changed. This is why we get ready. This is why we stock up. This is why we develop skills, why we build community. This is why we strengthen our spiritual walks, because in the end, this is warfare stuff. This is spiritual warfare. It's right out of the Bible. Many of you already know that. Absolutely right out of the Bible. And the Bible even talks about in Revelation how you know, the price of food is going to skyrocket. And it's only begun, folks. Absolutely only begun. So continue to get your houses in order. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I think I'll have a little bit more fun down here in the creek. Right in here, it's a pretty good little deep spot. And then further up that way, there's a big old swimming hole. But anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.